I don't see us continuing with playing with purpose. Our purpose is gonna be run clock, and that's just, it's not a winning strategy long term. All right, let's start with another You Make the Call.
IBM presents You Make the Call.
The Browns have the ball, 3rd and 20, 35 seconds left in the first half, no timeouts. Their only goal here is to run out the clock. What will the Browns do? You make the call. So with 2:09 left in the game, the Vikings had the ball, first down, around midfield. What if Kevin Stefanski called Mike Zimmer at that moment and said, hey Mike, I will give you a touchdown on this play. You can tie the game at 14, and then we get the ball back with about 2 minutes left. But we will give you the touchdown on this play, which means you can't run the clock out. But we will give you the touchdown on this very play. Or we can keep trying to stop you and you can try to run clock and try to score that way. What would Mike Zimmer do? Anybody with a brain would say, okay, I'll score the touchdown right now and give you the ball with 2 minutes left. Because you got Baker Mayfield who sucks, so I'll take my chances giving you the ball back because I want to tie the game, I want to score. But Mike Zimmer would rather run clock than score, I'm convinced. He would say, no, I think I can run the clock down and score. And tie the game with 3 seconds left, which still is probably too much to leave on the clock for the opposing team. Now for our You Make the Call answer.
IBM presents You Make the Call.
3rd and 20, no timeouts, 35 seconds left. They call a draw play. Everybody's expecting it, except the Vikings defense, who lets whoever the running back is, don't know his name, not gonna look it up, get like 30, 40 yards, and they get in field goal range, and their kicker, who is a professional kicker, is able to make like a 50-yard field goal. They go into half up 4 points. If that was your guess,
then you made the right call.
now, I want to tear Mike Zimmer a new rear end for the, again, horrible mismanagement of the end of the first half that has happened 3 out of 4 games this year that gave Cleveland 4 extra points. The 2-point conversion gave them an extra point because of that stupid penalty.
Minnesota player inadvertently called a 4th timeout, delay a game. Defense. This penalty is going to be assessed from the 2-yard line to the 1, and Cleveland will attempt a 2-point conversion.
The 3rd and 20 where they let the guy run for a first down when everybody knows they're going to run and they just want to run the clock out. 4 points, which were the difference in the game for most of the second half. I also really want to rip Mike Zimmer for, at the end of the game, down 7 points. His main goal seemed to be to keep the clock running, not to score. You're down 7 points and your offense has shown no ability to score at all and you have no urgency. It's like, we'll just keep running the ball, running clock, and eventually we'll just somehow score. Let's talk about Kirk Cousins, but let's try to be a little objective here, okay? The announcers kept talking about Kevin Stefanski's brilliant strategy, to rattle Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins gets rattled. And once you rattle him, he's just not effective. You just gotta rattle him. That's his strategy, to rattle him. You know who else gets rattled when his offensive line can't even stop a 3-man rush? Every single quarterback in the NFL. When 300-pound freaks of nature come racing at you on every play, you tend to get rattled. And even late in the game, Clowney's hurt on this key 4th and 3. It doesn't matter. They still get tons of pressure. I mean, if I'm understanding it correctly, this was Stefanski's strategy. Hey, Clowney and Garrett, I want you to not get blocked ever on any play. And I want you to not let them run the ball ever. And hey, other defenders, when you blitz, make sure nobody picks you up. Make sure they completely ignore you, so you have a free shot at the quarterback on every play. That's brilliant strategy. Just make sure the opposing players don't do anything to stop you. Man, coach, that's brilliant. How did you think of that? I think I'm gonna try that. I mean, it seems obvious, not trying to get blocked is what anybody would think to do, right? Except the Vikings, because it seemed like their defensive line made it their goal to make sure they got blocked in every play. Like, Browns can get pressure with 3 guys, the Vikings rush 6 and can't get a lick of pressure. As much as I want to criticize Cousins, it's like, just look at that key 4th and 6 in the second quarter where the game kind of turned. The Vikings were up 7-0. I mean, if they had a real kicker, they could have kicked it and gone up 10-0, but they don't have a real kicker, which, again, it's a joke. Tell me who's open. And tell me who gets blocked on the Cleveland Browns defense. Nobody gets blocked. Nobody's open. What is Kirk Cousins supposed to do?
I expect you to stand there and get your ass whooped.
He has no options. Cousins also showed why people don't like him. 3rd and 10 late in the game. Throws a 3-yard pass. 8 seconds left. 30 yards from the end zone with no timeouts, down 7. Throws like a 3-yard dump off to the outside that gets like 5. What good is that? And those kind of plays from Cousins, I mean, what they show is he is the kind of guy who will never, under any circumstances will his team to victory. But everybody knows that. So maybe the offensive line could block somebody. Maybe Garrett Bradbury cannot get pushed back 5 yards on every play like a rag doll. Maybe somebody can get open. Maybe Dalvin Cook cannot act hurt every game. Take himself out and then come back in for a play. When does Cousins take himself out? Never. I do want to hammer Cousins, but look at Baker Mayfield. He faced about 1/100th the pressure Cousins did. He had a running game that was gashing the Vikings defense all game. And he put out, what, 14 points? 4 of which were basically a gift at the end of the first half. The first 7 was because of a bogus holding penalty on Eric Kendricks on 4th and goal that kept that drive alive. He missed a wide open Odell Beckham Jr. late in the game that would have just totally cinched the game. And on 3rd and goal, very early in the game, he missed a wide open guy in the end zone. It was awful. If you switch the quarterbacks, what would the outcome have been? Probably more lopsided in the Browns' favor. The 3-yard pass with 8 seconds left. I want to just wring his neck, but we got our butts kicked by Cleveland in the trenches. That's what happened. We don't have to overanalyze it. We got dominated on the offensive line. We got dominated on the defensive line. That was the problem last year. That's the problem this year. It was also the 4 points at the end of the first half that Zimmer teams just give away. This is a low-scoring game, and 4 points, huge. Just giving them 4 points. Just gifting it to them. Poor clock management, terrible defense, and mental mistakes. It's just Mike Zimmer teams. Anyway, our awards for this week. Summer of George defense.
I proclaim this the Summer of George!
Boy, this is probably the best example of this ever. The Vikings came in super confident on offense. They controlled the clock against the Seahawks. They come in and the Browns just say, all right, you can score a touchdown on your first drive. Yeah, it'll be that easy. And the Vikings offense just imploded after that. It was like last week when I talked about, every sphincter in my body turned as limp as like Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship game. And that's what happened to the Vikings. Everything just went limp, and they just couldn't recover. That Summer of George defense from the Browns was phenomenal. Like, mwah! The Law of Averages award, that goes to the Vikings offense.
The Law of Averages says you will survive.
Yeah. Last week they picked up a lot of 3rd downs. When you're reliant on converting 3rd downs, what you need is an offensive line that can block, and we don't have that. And so today, everything imploded. The Better to Be Lucky Than Good award, that goes to Cameron Dantzler, who there was a long pass down the sideline, and he wasn't looking for the ball, and just boing, hit him in the back of the helmet. Good play. The 1980s Vikings offense calling a draw play on 3rd and long for the most predictable run play. Now, I wanted to give it to that 3rd and 20 at the end of the first half where the Cardinals got like 78 yards. Because everybody knew they were going to run except, of course, Mike Zimmer's defense. But I got to give it end of the game. 2 minutes and 9 seconds left. Okay, 9 seconds before the 2-minute warning. It's a guarantee every time. Mike Zimmer will call a run play. He will make sure they run it. Oh, the clock's going to stop at the 2-minute warning, and they got like 1 yard. And so it's 2nd and long, coming out of the 2-minute warning. Stupid idiot. Why don't you play action? Because they're expecting you to run and then throw deep. Maybe you score a touchdown. Oh wait, you don't want to score with 2 minutes left to tie the game. You don't want to score too quickly. So you end up not scoring. Good idea. The PJ Fleck award for just great fundamentals. That's, just that 3rd and 20, draw play, 50 yards, field goal, 3 points, game over. How'd they only give up 14 points? Oh yeah, Baker Mayfield. Patrick Peterson award for just poor effort. You get 4th week in a row, goes to Patrick Peterson. There's a play deep in Vikings territory. The Browns had the ball. I don't know. Patrick Peterson, what's he doing? Good pickup. The Richard Simmons award for getting manhandled.
Howard Stern.
That goes to every single Vikings lineman, both offensive and defensive lineman. Just manhandled all game. Special note to Garrett Bradbury, who he weighs like 300 pounds, yet defies the laws of physics that a man that big can just get kind of thrown. I wonder if there's like a magnetic thing going on. Maybe he got like, what was it? Ernest Goes to Jail, I think. He got like electrocuted. Became like magnetic, and that throws all the laws of physics off. So I gotta think he probably got electrocuted. Franco Harris Award for running out of bounds way shorter than you have to avoid getting hit. That goes to Dalvin Cook. He got just past the 1st down marker. Could have gotten probably 3 or 4 more yards, but I don't want to get hit. Because I'm always hurt. I'm always taking myself out of the game. I'm always writhing on the ground, and then I somehow can come back in 3 plays later and run up the middle for no gain.
Everyone cannot play sports.